Maybe just one final thing, like the mistakes I have seen. So, like obviously I've worked in recruitment. I've worked for 17 years right now, and I've seen how some of these promotional decisions are being made because I've worked with hiring managers internally. So, maybe if I could just maybe mention
Sure.
some of the mistakes. So one, you've kind of covered that early on in our conversation, and it's like relying on your work to get noticed because it, a lot of people think that if you just keep your head down, you work hard, and you produce excellent results, the rest would fall into place. In my experience, that doesn't work beyond your very earliest years on the job. Your work can't speak, and good news doesn't travel
Mhm.
nearly as fast as bad news. So don't think that just doing a great job alone will get you noticed and promoted, and make sure that you keep people updated on your accomplishments. So I've already mentioned that Google Doc, and with all of your achievements, add, no matter how small it is, like add every time you receive good feedback from a client, or when you complete a project, because this will come in handy when you have to prepare for a performance review or promotional conversation or even a job interview externally. Also, if you're looking to get promoted, you need to show up and speak up in meetings, because if nobody knows who you are, you risk becoming invisible to senior people. And of course, you need to have your manager on your side, because if your boss doesn't rate you,
Mhm.
you are unlikely to get promoted. Another big mistake is just being invisible, because if you're not speaking up, you're not showing up. Yeah, you don't want to be so busy working that you are invisible to senior people, because if no one knows about who you are, it's very hard to form a positive opinion about how deserving you are of a promotion. So make the time to show up and learn to speak up. And sometimes, actually, it might sound counterintuitive, but being indispensable actually could be a mistake as well. Because if you are so valuable in the role you're doing, you might be like too valuable to be promoted into a new role. Because if they can't find someone as good as you, you
Yeah.
might just kind of like
Hmm.
get stuck. So it's fine to be seen as indispensable in the short term, but just don't leave it so long that you get stuck because you're seen as the only person who can do the job. So make sure there's someone else who can step in behind you. And maybe just one last one, like leaving it too late. Like start thinking early what promotion you're aiming for, and just carve out the time to make a plan. Because yeah, let's say, if the promotion
Mhm.
discussion is in June, like obviously you can't just tell people in June. It has to be done.
Mhm.
It has to be done earlier. And sometimes, it's actually being in the wrong job, because some jobs simply don't lead to a promotion or greater responsibilities. So, if you are in a role that doesn't lead to a promotion, just take everything you can from it, and use it as a stepping stone to a role that you can get promoted from.
Yeah, it was a really interesting point you brought up about being really good at your job and indispensable, but then being too indispensable to where you're actually pigeonholed. And I've actually seen that a lot in Japan, and in the markets it's a bit different. It's unique, but this happens a lot where they have a lot of Japanese organizations will hire a non-Japanese guy or girl, and then they're one of the only people that speaks English, and so they're not going to move them out of that position because like that's the only person that can do it, right? That's the only person that can do that one job. And so if you have a skill that no one else has, it's great. There's stability in your job, but it could actually be some glass ceiling for you. So that's an interesting concept.